I can't even believe I have to make this video, but Broken Games HD, Broken Colapes HD, Colapes Gaming HD. The fact that this man says that gaming today is better than it has ever been is utterly blasphemous. My name is Black Bond. If you don't know who I am, subscribe to the channel, check it out. Check out the Weapon Wheel Podcast Sundays at 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Check out myself, Jack Move Johnny, BG, Kid Smooth. Check out the videos, check out the Twitter, check out the Patreon, check out the After Dark, check out the Last of Us Watch Party. You know the drill. But back to BG. Look, nobody's denying that gaming right now is more convenient, more technologically advanced, has a higher technical prowess. Basically, you can have access to games whenever you want through services and systems. Nobody is arguing that. What my counter argument will be is that all those things I just mentioned have never determined what machine, what platform, or what console is the best. Games have always done it. So for anybody saying gaming is better today because of all the technical prowess, you're full of crap. Because y'all are the same people that were playing your welfare consoles on your welfare resolutions for over a decade, claiming that PC gaming isn't that special and it's nothing to brag about. But now here you go, and you want to act like you're a PC gamer in a closed box on a console. We ain't doing that. So, how do we determine if gaming today is better than gaming yesterday or at any other point in the past? Simple. You gotta go by metrics here, people. Metrics. So let's look at games. What genres today are at the apex of quality? Meaning that right now, a specific genre is better in gaming than it has ever been compared to the past. I can name you some. Roguelike games are better now than they've ever been. Battle Royale games, by default, are better now than they've ever been. Action-adventure games, sandbox games, open-world games. I'll even say Metrovania games because there's so many indie developers making Metrovania games. So by quality and numbers, I'll put it over Castlevanias, the Metroids, things of that nature. I'll give that one up. But what I won't give up is this. Survival horror games are not better now. First-person shooter games are definitely not better now. Halo, dead. Battlefield, dead. What's that game called? Titanfall, dead. Which you playing now? Call of Duty and Battle Royale games. Congratulations. Stealth games are pretty much non-existent right now, BG. We don't have any Metal Gear. We don't have any Splinter Cell. We don't have any alternatives. Period. Rhythm games, we don't have Dance Dance Revolution. We don't have Rock Band. We don't have Guitar Hero. We don't have Guitaru Man. We don't have Beat Mania. None of these games really exist today. Fighters. Yo, how dare you? How dare you say that fighting games now are better than they've ever been? You must be out of your mind. Completely. I would take the 360 PS3 era of fighters over this current generation of fighters. I would take the Dreamcast PS2 era of fighters over this current crop of fighters. I would take the Sega Saturn generation of fighters over this current crop of fighters. I would take the 16-bit generation, the Neo Geo arcades, and the CPS 1, 2, and 3 fighters, even though there are only a couple threes, over this current generation of fighters. Like, the Dreamcast alone destroys this current generation of, like, what are you talking about, dog? Like, you are crazy in that assessment. The fact that the golden age of fighters and arcades no longer exist and you say it's better now than nuts. Absolutely crazy. And then you go on and say Japanese RPGs are better. Hey, it might not have been you, but it was some moron in the Discord that says that. That's crazy. Final Fantasy hasn't been really good, and I don't know how long. I mean, we're talking about the top JRPGs of all time. You're talking about, Final Fantasy 4 through 6, 7 through 9. You're talking about the early Persona games. You're talking about the earlier Dragon Quest games. You're talking about the early Atlas games. You're talking about the early Shin Megami Tensei games. You're talking about games like Xenogears, Chrono Trigger. I would play Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, FF6, pretty much over anything Japanese RPG related coming out right now. Ludicrous. Insanity. Even 10-year-old games like The Legend of Heroes, Azure, and Zero, and the Trails in the Sky trilogy are way better than what is coming out today. Stop it. Western RPGs, don't get me started on that. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, I'm so annoyed. I'm getting a headache talking about this crap. What is BioWare doing right now? Jack shit. What is Bethesda really doing right now? Jack shit. What is CD Projekt Red doing right now? Jack shit. The amount of quality Western RPGs back then were way better now. Y'all, we don't got nothing equivalent to Mass Effect now. We got what? Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, wow, that's so great. Sports games, way better back in the day. Not only do we have better sports games, we had EA and Sega making good sport games. We had arcade games like Blitz. We had NFL Street. I'm going to throw in the wrestling games because we had multiple wrestling games. We had Def Jam games. We had NFL Street, NBA Street, FIFA Street. We just had so many more things. We had a plethora of baseball games, from All-Star Baseball to High Heat to, what was EA's game? Alexa, EA Sports Baseball video game.
I don't know that.
She don't even know. What was that game called? God, what is it called? Not the show. Oh, what is this game called? MVP Baseball. There you go. MVP Baseball. You get the idea. We had plenty of games. I mean, even on the Xbox, we had more than one football game. We had 3 football games. RTS games, y'all can really not tell me that RTS is better now than it's ever been. Y'all can't. Supreme Commander, StarCraft, Company of Heroes. When's the last time we had a Warcraft game? Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun, bruh, can we stop this, BG? Can we stop this for real? Maybe I can give you Grand Strategy with the Total War games, but that's about it. That's about it. Strategy games, now they're way better back then. MMO games, what do we have now? We have Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. We had a whole crapload of MMOs back in the day. Hack and slash, not way better back in the day with Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry. Y'all telling me the old God of War games are better? I'ma believe you. But what developers are even better now than they were back then? Forget about game genres. Let's talk about video game developers. Who right now, as a development studio, is making better games now than they were back then? I can think of 2.5, maybe 3 studios. Insomniac definitely comes to mind. They are killing the game right now. They are better now than they've ever been. Rockstar. I can say Rockstar is better now than they've ever been, but their output is way lower. We had 3 Grand Theft Autos in the PS2 generation. We had 2 Grand Theft Autos in the PS3 generation. We've had 1 Grand Theft Auto in the PS4, even into the PS5 generation. Hell no, that can't, yeah. No, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on PS3. Yeah. So, PS2 had 3 Grand Theft Autos in GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. PS3 had 3 Grand Theft Autos in GTA 4, and no, you're right. 2 Grand Theft Autos. 2 Grand Theft Autos. We haven't had a Grand Theft Auto. My point is we haven't had shit. Haven't had shit but Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. That's all we've had. High quality, low output. And the third developer I'll say is from Software. They're coming out with games like Elden Ring. They're coming out with games like Sekiro. They're improving. Maybe Team Ninja. They're improving too. But are they at the top of the game when it comes to overall developers? No. But those are the developers that have clearly gotten better. I may say Guerrilla Games, but some people like Killzone. A lot of people don't like Horizon. But let's look at game development studios, developers that have fallen from grace, that at one time were the best of the best, the cream of the crop. What the fuck is Square Enix doing right now? Octotrash Traveler? Dio Field? Final Fantasy Origins? Like Final Fantasy hasn't been good in a while. Like, what is Square Enix doing? Not making good-ass games like FF4, FF5, FF6, FF7, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, FF10, FF12. No. Stop it. They ain't making bangers like they used to. They're far and few between. Konami? Are they making Silent Hill? Are they making Metal Gears? Are they making Castlevanias? No. They're making pachinko machines. Rare used to be a top-tier developer. People used to say that Rareware made better games than Nintendo themselves. What the hell is Rare doing now? Making Sea of Thieves. Get that shit out of my face. Sega? Oh, wow. Let's look at what Sega's making right now. Besides Football Manager. I didn't even know Company of Heroes 3 is coming out. But Sonic Frontiers wasn't that good. They bought an Atlas, and Soul Hackers isn't good. The only good Sega games that they're making right now is Total War and Football Manager. And whatever Atlas puts out, that is good. EA, they're getting better, but let's be real. EA is not at the top of their game. Bungie, whew, no. Bungie ain't doing it. Halo, we can talk about franchises going downhill. I'm just talking about game genres and, game studios. We could go by game franchises. Game franchises aren't even at the level that they used to be, period. Blizzard used to be a top-tier developer that I could close my eyes and realize that they're going to make one of the best games of all time. What are they doing lately? Nothing. They're making Diablo games that people hate. They're making Diablo games that don't work. They're making Diablo games that at launch you can't even play. Ubisoft, they might be getting sold. Activision, what are they doing? Not really much. BioWare, they're not doing shit. And Nintendo, while they're making quality games, make no mistake, the Switch is not the best first-party, second-party, in-house development effort that Nintendo has ever done in the history of their existence. They haven't. Moving on, variety. The variety in games right now is less than we've ever had it. The number of quality releases right now is less than we've ever had it. Don't believe me? The Dreamcast was what, a 2-year console. The PS5 and Xbox One pretty much have been around the same time that Dreamcast was around before it died. Let's read off some of the games that the Dreamcast had. Soul Calibur, Tony Hawk 2, NFL 2K, Jet Grind Radio, Code Veronica, Quake, Skies of Arcadia, Test Drive, NBA 2K, Virtual Tennis, the GOAT Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Tennis 2K, BG trying to say that Epic is better than they've ever been before. No. Epic back then was making games like Unreal Tournament, Gears of War. What are they making now? Jack shit. Fortnite, Grandia 2, Samba de Amigo, Phantasy Star Online. There were actually good Sonic games in Sonic Adventure, UFC, Metro Street Racer, Power Stone 1, Power Stone 2, King of Fighters 98 Dream Match, more Test Drives, more Daytona, Mark of the Wolves, Street Fighter Third Strike, Sega GT. You know what? I was going to say that racing games are better now than they were back in the day. I changed my mind. They're not. I mean, we had Crazy Taxi, Project Justice, CVS 1, CVS 2, NHL 2K. I mean, I'm looking down the list of games that the Dreamcast had. Last Blade 2. Again, we're naming all these fighting games, and BG says fighting games are better now than they were back in the day. Like, y'all got to stop defrauding. Stop it. This generation of games, and even recent generations of games, have been broken, unfinished, incomplete, bastardized games with DLC, booty boxes, microtransactions, season passes. But beyond that, BG, let's talk about multiplayer, since, this generation is so much better than generations past. You have been complaining about multiplayer games not for a year, not for 2 years. It's got to be 2 to 3 years at this point, my man. Gotta be that much. So I don't know how you can say that this generation of gaming is the best when you ain't even playing no multiplayer games. When did Dragon Ball FighterZ come out? That game came out in 2018. 5 years ago. We've been waiting for this damn laundromat to come out for 5 years. The laundromat was supposed to open with Dragon Ball FighterZ. It was supposed to open when Pokemon came out. You were supposed to be mopping people. You know what the laundromat's been used for? It's been used for Baron's wrestling matches. The laundromat is more barren than Dr. Trey's house. It's got less furniture. Baron over there wrestling in the parking lot of the laundromat. Hell, he set up a mat inside, a ring inside, because it's so empty and dusty. Multiplayer games. There ain't no way in hell you could say multiplayer now is better than multiplayer back then. Now, this is also my last point. You can't exactly judge games by ratings across generations, but if you look at the highest rated games of all time throughout multitudes of generations, you're not really seeing many games from this generation. It is what it is, BG. You saying that games right now are better than they've ever been is asinine. Very few genres are better now than they were back then. Very few developers are better now than they were back then. Very few franchises in gaming are better now than they were back then. If you want to argue this, you want to dispute this, I need a list of genres better now than back in the past, developers better now than they were in the past, and game franchises better now than they were in the past. And believe me, you take those 3 categories, you're not going to find many on either 3. You just won't. I'm Black Bond. Feel free to respond. I'm very interested in hearing what people have to say about this, especially people that have been playing games a long time, people that weren't born in HD or born in 3D. And Blandrew, for once in your life, make a prompt video response. You don't need editing to reply to this one. I'm Black Bond. I'll catch you guys next time.